everyone, it's Imogen. Welcome back to Colouring Kid. I hope you're doing well. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing my completed pages for the month of November and my plans for December. So before we get started with the 2 completed pages that I've finished and my whips and what I hope to colour, I do actually have a 3rd completed postcard, but you'll see in a minute in the clip I don't actually have it to share, but technically I did complete 3 pages. So I'm going to insert that clip now for you. Hi everyone, I'm filming this in advance of my completed pages. I just wanted to share with you the postcard that I'm going to be sending off to Rita Berman. So I did this last year and I wanted to send her one again from her new postcard set. So I really appreciated her sending them to me. And I think in my completed pages for October I had just done the watercolour base and now I've finished it. So I've used a lot of glittery paint, as you can see, and I went over with pencil. And I used some of my handmade paints from Archie's Paints, which will be in my haul that will be up already. I've also used a few other paints as well from the Art Spirits, and I just really like how it's turned out. I really enjoyed doing it, and actually it didn't take too long to do, surprisingly. Once the watercolour's down, it's really fairly easy to finish off, and I used a limited amount of colours, which helped as well. And I loved doing all the white gel pen and adding all of the paint on top. The clouds had a base of blue watercolour, and then the paint that I used, I think it's called Karina from Archie's Paints, is a blue paint but with gold glitter. I absolutely love it, and I just think this postcard suits lots of glitter and sparkle on it. So yeah, that is my completed postcard that I will be sending off. I've also got a few other things to put in their package, but I just really like sending things, and the fact that Rita sent me the postcards, I thought it would be a lovely way to thank her. So yeah, I'm really chuffed with how it's turned out, and I hope she likes it. So that is one of my completed pages for November. So that postcard was completed earlier in the month, and so I've sent it off, and I hope that it arrives soon for Rita. So it's a very Rita Berman filled month this month. I completed 2 Rita Berman pages, which were both whips from last month. I was quite slow with colouring and stuff this month, just because I was taking my time, especially with the one from My Reise Europa, but also I just didn't have a lot of time. I do have a whip to share with you that I haven't done any more of, and then some things that I also hope to work in December. And I think because it's just the last couple of weeks now before the Christmas holidays, hopefully when I get to them I'll have a bit more time. But I did complete this, which I just wanted to share. So it's got nothing to do with colouring, but I thought it would be quite fun to share in the run up to Christmas. So my mum had seen this in, I think they were in Tesco, and they're sort of like those nano blocks, if you've heard of them, like tiny Lego pieces, and usually the actual official nano blocks are about £9 or £10 for a packet. And in the past I've had a Christmas tree one, which I've still got up, and I really liked this snowman, and I think it was about £3, and I had fun doing that for a few mornings, and before I got the train. Sometimes I have a spare 10-15 minutes here and there, and yeah, it was really fun to do. And I'm nowhere near as good at doing Lego as my brother Tom. He does a lot of Lego, and I used to do it quite a lot, but yeah, it's just really fun and I love the outcome. So I will be keeping it on my desk for the Christmas period. So yeah, I'm gonna pop him to the side. So I have 2 pictures, as I said. The first one is from Mein Herbstspaziergang by Rita Berman. So this one was the 2nd page that I completed, but thought I would share it with you first. So this one I don't think I'd done much of last month. I think I'd pretty much only done some of the background, this pinwheel flower design, and the blue ones, and I think I'd started the ochre ones. So as you can see, it's now finished, and it doesn't really have a specific colour palette. I was sort of just going for autumn colours. I don't think I totally pulled it off, but you know what? I really enjoyed doing it. And the thing is, with pattern pages, I don't usually gravitate towards them. So the fact that I did, it really gave me the motivation to actually do it, because for once I was actually really fancying doing one. So this was a lot of fine liner work with pencil, and I do have a few videos on my channel sharing how I use fine liners, and this was no different to what I've said in both of those videos. My techniques really haven't changed that much since I've started using them. So either what I've done for this is a base of fine liner with pencil over the top, or I've used pencil with fine liner over the top. As you can see for this one, all of those extra stripes added in a fine liner. And you'd be surprised, I thought doing it that way it would mean that the fine liner would just be really slippery on waxy pencil, especially these, like the luminance, but they were absolutely fine. This one, which was one of my favourites to do, was just a solid burnish layer of an Eraserton pencil in purple, and then I went over with a darker purple fine liner and just did lots of lines, and you get the blended gradiated effect without even needing to blend the colour pencil, which is quite cool. And then I used some gold paint on top. So this was the Fool's Gold, I think, from the Art Spirits. Is that right? I always get confused between... No, this was Brassy. That's Fool's Gold. Yes. So I used Brassy. So they're sort of similar. I would say Fool's Gold is definitely more of a yellowy gold. This is a bit more, well, yeah, Brassy a bit more muted. You can see them up there, hopefully. They're both beautiful. So yeah, I used that, very watered down in some areas, and I just decided to put a few accent dots and things on most of them just to make it exciting, I guess. And the background was just a castle art pencil. I really didn't know what to do with it at first, and then I thought, well, I'll just do a light layer of pencil, because I do find with backgrounds, and in the past I have blended backgrounds and tried to add shadow, obviously where all these lines would be, and then gradiate out. But in my experience with my colouring stuff, it just seems to then take away from the other things. So typically now when I do backgrounds, and it's the same with my other examples in here, yeah, I don't tend to do a gradient a lot of the time, because I think if I'd done a gradient on this blue background, then it might have taken away from the puddle too much. But yeah, it's always interesting just seeing what works for backgrounds, because you don't want them to take away from your colouring work, you want it to enhance it. So, you know, it was sort of a colour I just decided to go for, and I think it does work, given that the only orange I really have on the page are these ones, and then obviously the gold paint sort of goes with it as well, but I think it's nice to have a sort of neutral autumnal colour in the background. And I do think that it would work quite well as a background colour for this page, and I do really like it, but I'm going to be focusing on Christmas pages, I think, in December, but that's a really nice one as well. So yeah, that's a fun page to do, not too much stress. That was just very easy to come back to, and I did do some of it on a live stream the other week. That was lovely to do, and thank you so much everybody for joining. So then I have my page from My Reise Europa. This is another one ticked off the list for this book. I'm getting quite a lot of this back section of the book done. I will show it to you after I've shared this completed page. So this is the completed page. Last month I think I'd done the boat. Maybe I hadn't even finished the boat. I honestly can't remember. I had done the ducks, the water and the boat, I think. And that was pretty much it. And as you can see, I have finished it. So this was quite a different colour palette from the rest of the book. It's definitely more muted, sorry, not muted, like darker, just because of all of the grey and the darker green that I used. But I really needed a switch up. I think I was getting into a bit of a rut doing the same sorts of colours, and I'm glad that I branched out and did something new. And I actually think that when I eventually do come to doing this page, they will end up looking quite different, but I'm glad that I've done some of the colours you know, what I chose to do over here, because I think the red will obviously carry over for a lot of things. The green, not so much, but that's okay. And I've got lots of neutrals as well, which will work. So I want to try and keep them balanced, but it's not always going to be the case that for a double page spread, well, it's not really a double page spread, they're two separate things, but I always like to somewhat make them cohesive. I think this one might be a little bit more of a challenge, but I think it's still doable. So yeah, I'm looking forward to hopefully coming to that at some point. It will definitely take a lot less time than this one did. This was a very, very long project. And lots of it was down to all of the white gel pen and things like that, especially the background with all of these lines. But there were just lots of sort of tiny details, and the only thing I was glad about towards the end was I ended up having a few things left, and I still tried not to rush it because, you know, I was at that final hurdle, but I just wanted to still make sure that things sort of went together. So the houses were the last things that I did, along with the small details like the flowers. And my last minute sort of decision to add some pink in, I think in the end paid off, because it goes with the red quite well, but also it goes with the chestnut colour I have going on in the houses, so that will also carry over, which will be handy. And I sort of mirrored the colour I did for Liberty on the double page spread here, not quite to the same extent, because obviously this was more black for the smaller areas, whereas this was just a darker grey, because I didn't want too much more black going on in the page, because I'd already got the dark grey for the boat. I added in little sort of tuft motion lines with some pencils for the grass, just so that it wasn't a block colour of green. I wanted to add some texture there and keep the green the same from the water as well. That was a really interesting effect for me to do, and I just searched up some canal water, which obviously from walking along canals, it's never the cleanest, but it's got such a cool effect to it, and it's got loads of, especially when the sun is on it, there's just loads of different colours you get. So I tried to mimic that with the bits of blue, and then also this sort of ochre neutral colour, and then a green as well. So yeah, that is that page. I put some glitter paint on it. I keep saying I need to decorate this. This is the Archie's paints. Now, which one is it? It was Alara. So this is a glittery pink paint which has got gold glitter in it. So when you water it down, there's loads of gold glitter. I'll hold it up in a second, but that's absolutely gorgeous. I love it. And I will hold it up so you can see. I put it on the lantern and on the flowers, and then I also put it on the tips of some of the leaves there. So yeah, I needed sparkle somewhere on the page, so I just picked out those areas. There's a lot of white gel pen on here as well, especially with the ducks. I did a live stream definitely more than a month ago now, where I was working on those. So that is my second page. So I don't know how I've managed to stretch out 2 pages to 11 minutes. I hope that wasn't too boring for you. I'm just going to get the books that I hope to work in for December, including a WIP that I'm working on in here, which I will share, and I'll share the pages that I've completed in the back of the book, so you can see how it's all coming together. So I will see you in a second. Right, so I have my pictures. Some are just books that I would like to work in, and some are specific pages. So the page that I'm working on currently is a buddy colour. So this is the hut page. I'm going to try and make it as wintry and sort of festive as I can, but it's obviously quite autumnal as well. It goes really well with another page that I've already done. So I'm looking forward to continuing with this one. I literally only started it last night. I'm using the Faber-Castell Black Edition pencils. So they work really well in Rita Berman's books actually, and I've got a really nice blend with them. And I've gone over with the dark indigo Faber-Castell pencil because that's a really good neutral dark blue. Sometimes dark blues for me can be too bright, and I really like that it's subtle and dark almost. I think it's got quite a lot of grey in it. But yeah, I just need to continue with the sky. I'm aiming to work on this middle section first, I think, and then doing all of the trees and things. So I have a few ideas. I was going to try and make it look like Hansel and Gretel's, or the house in Hansel and Gretel. I've got a few images of that, and then I'll probably make these Christmas trees. I've got some acrylic paint pens. I might add like baubles on and make them look like lights and things. We will see. I'm probably being too adventurous and it won't turn out like that at all, but yeah, I'm really excited to do this, and I like that it's a framed page as well. Obviously, like the one that I did, it's nice that it's all contained and it doesn't go to the edge of the page. But yeah, I thought I'd just share with you all of the pages that I've done so far in this back section, because I've done quite a few. So we've got my first double page spread that I did a while ago now, and then this picture. And then now I've got the one that I'm working on, so obviously we haven't finished that yet, so that's still a whip. And then I've got this double spread, which was from last year, and you can see what I mean about lots of the things on this page are similar to the one that I'm working on at the moment, but I don't want the colour palettes to be too similar, so I'm going to try and mix it up a bit. And the last one I have is this one right next to it. So I am aiming to do this other side at some point and use the same colours, but this was done earlier this year, so I've got quite a few done. It's nice filling out the back of the book. I definitely find this end of the book is more autumnal. Oh, sorry for the notification there. It's definitely more autumnal, which I really like. It suits me very well with my colouring at the moment. So I've obviously got more pages done at the beginning of the book as well, but they're more scattered throughout, so it's really nice having a few collectively together. So yeah, that is the whip that I'm working on in My Reise by Rita Berman. We then have my Winter Spaziergang by Rita Berman, so I'm aiming to do a page in here. I was deliberating about whether to do one of the double spreads in here that I absolutely love, but it's whether I'll get round to them, and I'm only going to pick one. But it was either this one, which has a lot of snow, and I do think it would take me a while with all of the white gel pens, so that's a bit of a maybe one. I love this Christmas market one. But again, it's just time, and I guess I could work on it into January and February, but I'd rather get it done by the end of December because it's quite a Christmassy page, so I'm not sure. I love them, and I think they're some of my favourite pictures, but with the other Rita Berman page as well, I'm just not sure whether I'm going to get round to it. So as much as I did want to do one of those this year, I'm not sure if I will. There are loads of other amazing pages in here that I would like to do. There's a wreath page that I have always loved, and it's been one of my favourites. It's this one. Absolutely love that. It's gorgeous. I really like... What did I just go past? See, this one isn't one that would normally gravitate towards me, but at some point I would quite like to do all of these swell like motif pages. I did the one in the summer book a while ago, which had the fruits and then all of the fish, the koi fish, and I think it would work quite well doing all four of them. There's a autumn leaf one in the autumn book and a flower one, I think, in the spring book. So maybe not now, because again it's a double spread, but that one is beautiful. There's just so many stunning pages, and I need to get around to doing one in here because I really, really love it. Or maybe I just pick something a little bit more simple. I've done the advent calendar before in the other book, and it was quite hard for me to keep up with doing one a day, I'm not gonna lie. And that was a few years ago, so I think I'll struggle even more now. But there's loads to choose from, and I'm like really hoping that I can get around to something. I do love that one. The ice skating boots, I guess, or are they big enough to be? No, maybe they're ski boots. Oh yeah, of course, because there's the skiing here. Yeah, that one's really pretty as well. we'll see, we'll see. Oh, that one's cute as well. I just need to get around to something in this book. I love it. So that's that one. Then I would really like to do a Christmas postcard from I Believe in Fairies. I didn't get around to doing one of these last month. This month. I did that one last month. But I've got quite a few Christmas ones left. And I need to get around to them. I think I've got... I've got 5. Wow. Yeah, I really do need to get around to doing one of these. Because if I don't, then I'll just end up with winter ones left. And I don't really want to be colouring winter pages in, like past February. That's just me. But I've got 2, 4, 6. Okay, I've got a fair amount of Halloween and spring ones left. But I would really like to do one of these. Not really sure which one yet. I've always loved the Christmas tree one. It's just whether I get sidetracked with her new book when it arrives. That one's really nice as well. We'll see. I don't want too much of a background one just because I spent quite a while on the background recently in on this postcard with the background. So something fairly simple would be quite nice, I think. So I'll have a think about that, but I would really like to do one of these. So they're just so beautiful, and that'll be one more done for that collection. There is a postcard from Aries set of 16, well 32, but you get doubles, that I would like to do. It's this one, because I don't think that I would get round, maybe not in December, but I don't think I'd get around to doing this one in December because of all the other stuff I'm working on. But I thought potentially if I do have time, or maybe going into January and February, this would be a really nice one to do because it's a winter one rather than a Christmas one. So I thought that was really sweet, and I could just see it being done with loads of glitter and stuff. So that was my thought for that. I didn't get around to doing the Halloween one, but that's okay. I love that they're all, they all sort of go with the seasons, which is really nice. So that's a potential one, maybe for a few months' time. And then we have the whip that I still haven't continued with, from Fairy Touch and Magic by Kara Markova. Yeah, again, I'm not sure if I will come back to this anytime soon, if I'm working on a postcard or in her new book, we'll see. But I can't really remember what I did for it, which is the only issue. I have the colours aside somewhere, but it's just if I'll manage to get the same result with this, with the big area. I should have persevered and done the big area as well, but I just didn't. But I'm liking how it's turning out. It's not that I don't like it and something's, I've been put off by it in some way. It's just that I haven't come back to it, and I think that's mainly due to time and just being drawn to doing other things as well. So also, it's quite Halloweeny and autumnal, and I'm sort of really into Christmas stuff at the moment. So yeah, that's the other thing. When Cara's new book comes, it might be that I decide to do a Christmas page in there, and then I just definitely will not get around to doing a postcard. So yeah, that's the whip. But I'm doing good with whips. That's the only, current-ish one that I have. Not counting the Europa one. So yeah, I managed to complete 2 last month, which I was quite pleased with. We then have Wild Mouse Yuri's Journey sketch, which I have been meaning to get to for such a long time. I didn't get any of the autumnal pictures done, which was a shame. If I don't get round to doing one, there are still lots here in the winter one that would work well for January or February. It's not a deal breaker. Things like the Merry Christmas cards I probably wouldn't do in January or February, but that wreath is beautiful. Quite a few of them would work well. Or I could just do this motif with the robin if I don't get a huge amount of time. But I really want to colour something else in this book, because I've sort of been leaning towards this same colour palette for all the spring stuff. And as much as I like it, I just want to get away from using all of the same colours and just do something new. And I eventually will come back to doing more in the spring section, and I'll probably do a similar colour palette, because I think what would be quite nice is having each section being slightly different colours. So yeah, it's just a case of actually doing one, and I didn't do anything in the summer one like I said I would. It's just been a while since I've worked in this, and I really like it. So yeah, that's that one. So the next few books are just ones that I would really like to get around to. I'm not sure if I will. They're just extras that I always like to share a few just in case, but even if I don't get around to them, maybe just for a bit of inspiration. So the first book might be a bit of a surprising one if you've been with me for a while. This is Fairy Tales by Emily Lytle Oberg, and I haven't worked in this book for such a long time. I got it ages ago, even before I started my channel. It was one of the first books actually that I got that wasn't a Joanna Basford or Millie Marotta book, I believe. And what really inspired me to come back to this was Natalie Hawker, who is one of my longest followers, I think. And I was just scrolling through the pictures for embellishments in November, and my mum was having a look and she was like, oh, what's that mouse on? That's really cute. What book's that from? And I was like, it's from this book. And it just gave me an idea to just look through it again and see. And I've mentioned before, things that put me off with my books is if there's pictures that I have coloured that I don't really like, then I don't really like working in it. So I've rectified that. I've taken the pages out. I've still got them. I'm not going to chuck them away. But they're no longer in the book, so it's a clean book. Obviously, aside from those few pictures. But there are some really nice wintry pages in here, and at some point I would really like to get around to working in this again. So thank you, Natalie, for the inspiration if you're watching. There are some really, really pretty ones, and the paper is amazing. Like, this is so good. I forgot how good it was, and I think it would potentially take like watercolour really well. I'm not sure if I will use it, but my plan for some of them was maybe to do this colour scheme from the front. Obviously this is the front image, but I think, oh yeah, the images are just really, really pretty. And the page that she coloured was this one, which I really like. So yeah, there are some really nice pages in here, and especially with the winter ones. I know there was a polar bear one towards the start. It's got much nicer paper than Sagarok Sagna in my opinion, and I think that it will work with a few of my pencils really well. So there's that polar bear one back there, but there's also that one. Maybe, I mean, all the houses and stuff in the back I don't quite like as much, but the polar bears are adorable. So yeah, that was a fun book to just look through again and to give me inspiration. So maybe at some point I will be able to get around to this. I definitely will at some point. So yeah, thanks Natalie. So then I have a book which I got a while ago and haven't worked in yet, and I really want to work in. This is the Four Seasons colouring book. So this has quite a few Christmas pages in the back. I don't think some of them would take that long to do. It's just getting around to doing them. I really like all the ones with the deer. I think they're beautiful. And this one's really pretty as well. Yeah, it's just a case of being able to do one. Even some in the autumnal section I thought were quite nice, and I didn't get around to doing this one, which was definitely the most Halloween page in there. But, you know, if you are really into doing full pages and you have, there are still full, autumn, there are still loads of pages to do if you don't want to start doing Christmas pages yet. And that's the thing with all books really. With quite a few that I have, I quite like having all the different seasons in one book. I think that it's really nice to have that variation. So yeah, maybe I'll get around to that at some point. And then the last book I have, which I will be sharing in an upcoming haul at some point, is a new book that I got called Animaux de Bois, and this is by Paul Brun. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. I'm really sorry. This is beautiful. I saw this on Barbara Colours' channel, and I'd been meaning to get it when I saw it. I was pondering for a while, because I'm not buying as many books and things as I used to, just because I don't have as much time to get around to them. So as you can tell from the book I just shared, I got that months ago and I haven't got around to it yet, but it's I mean, they're lovely to have anyway. This is stunning, and the paper is some of the best paper that I have like ever had in a colouring book. It's so thick, it's amazing. And yeah, I was waiting for ages to get it because I thought about it, and then it went out of stock. Then it came back on Amazon UK for about £28, and you know, that's quite, it was quite a lot. I know there are colouring books that are very expensive now, but yeah, it was close to my birthday when I'd first seen it, and I was like, oh, okay, well, I'll wait. And I think in the end I managed to get it for about £12, which, considering the paper, I'm really happy with that, and I think it's amazing. So this is sort of reminds me of Layla Dooley, just because of the detail, except there are loads more animals, which I think is amazing. I love Layla Dooley's work, and I think that she does have some like birds and butterflies and things, but I think having the animals as well in this is really good. So there are a few wintry pages. Not sure if I will get around to one, but even just doing a small, I mean, I love that deer. Even just getting around to a small motif would be really nice. Like this one's beautiful, and I think there was something small at the beginning. Was it there? Oh my. Maybe not. I thought I saw something a bit smaller and manageable. Yeah, something like that. But yeah, there are so many beautiful pages, and there are quite a few flip throughs up now. And there is a like glossary in the back of everything, so you can have a look at all of the different animals and plants that are in here. Of course, they are in French, but easily translatable. So yeah, there are some really lovely images in here. I think it's stunning, and I would like to get around to that at some point. So that's everything that I have to share with you. Obviously, the nature of me not doing as many pages now each month, these might not be quite as long as they used to be, these videos, but actually the fact that I'm combining my completed pages and what I hope to colour, I think they'll still stay the same. I think if I was just doing my completed pages, you would end up with quite short videos. But yeah, I hope that's all right. And yeah, I'm really hoping that once I've completed this last bit of the term, I can properly do a colour and chapter update about things, because I've got quite a lot going on. I did explain quite a lot in my live stream that I did the other day about what's been going on, especially with uni and things like that, which is all very exciting. Just very busy at the moment. I know it's a live stream and some people don't like watching those back, which is totally understandable, but yeah, there's quite a lot in there about what I've been up to if you're interested. So yeah, I hope you are all doing well. Thank you so much for taking time out of your days to watch, and I will see you all in my next video. Take care, everyone. Bye.